That's what the purpose of this presentation is twofold: to go over those health and safety procedures and protocols that we're going to be having in place here at Woodrow Wilson, um, as well as our logistical school infrastructure. Okay? So again, this presentation is being recorded. It will also be sent out to all of you in the form of the slide presentation in both English and Spanish. Okay. All right. Let me see here. Let me go ahead and share my screen. And then we can go ahead and get started with the presentation. All right. Mrs. T, is this up on yours? Thumbs up? Thank you. All right. Okay, so we're going to go over the reopening plan. Again, twofold. We're going to look at health and safety protocols that we're putting in place to ensure the health and safety of your children and our staff. You know, things are going to be a little bit different here because we're not quite back to traditional normal school as we once knew it over a year ago, but we're trying to get there. Okay, and this is what I consider like a transition period to get us there. So it is really important that we're all on board with these health and safety protocols and procedures. So the guiding values are the health and safety of our students, families, and staff. The social emotional well-being will be the focus when we return. When our students return, we're going to have a lot of questions. There's going to be a gap, a learning gap from the distance learning. We did the best that we could, and you know, all schools and teachers, our teachers have been working really hard throughout the distance learning. I want to give props to them. The shift from traditional school as we all knew it, then jumping into distance learning, just full steam ahead. And then we did it for the majority of the year, and now here we're starting a hybrid program. And so these kind of shifts take a lot of work, and our teachers have been working very, very hard. And so I want to, you know, say thank you to them. This is a strong staff, and you know, I feel confident that we're ready to begin another transition period into this hybrid learning. Okay. I'm not going to go over word for word on every single slide here. I'll invite you all to kind of peruse and take a look at some of the data of you know, where we're at as California and Bay Area and so forth, and the reopening in general here in San Mateo County, and you know, what we're looking at as a local population. Okay. Again, this slide is listing a lot of the reopening that is happening throughout the county. Okay. So we're going to get into more of our school-specific stuff, and this is our practices for reducing the spread of COVID here in schools. And you know, we are following the 4 pillars of health and safety that has been set forth by the San Mateo County Office of Health. Part of these 4 pillars include wearing a facial covering at all times. Students should always wear a mask while on campus. We'll talk more about that. Staff will be in facial coverings at all times while on campus. Social distancing, 6 feet apart at all times while on campus. Okay. We'll be talking about some of the symptoms and what to do, but basically in general, if you are in doubt that your child might be sick with any sort of symptoms, when in doubt, keep them home. Call the office. Call me. Call Mr. John. Let's have a conversation. We can figure out, you know, what the risk is, what the symptoms are, and so forth. Okay. Hi, Miss Isip joined us. Hi, Miss Isip. Perhaps when we get to the kindergarten area, she can help kind of go over a few things. And thank you. I see. Thank you, Ms. Castellon, for joining us as well. Okay. So part of these 4 pillars of health and safety, practicing. Kids should be practicing to wash their hands with soap and water for 20 seconds. Teachers are going to be talking to students about this. when they use the restroom, make sure to wash hands for 20 seconds. Okay. Actions to take before returning to campus. So again, I'm not going to read all of these slides, but here's a few highlights from this. Please make sure your child's up to date with all recommended vaccines. Okay, not necessarily, that's not the new COVID vaccine, because that's not for children yet, but all other vaccines. Please make sure they are. Check in with John. Okay. Please make sure that your kids know how to properly wash their hands on the front, on the back, in between. I talk to my son at home all about 20 seconds. I have him do the ABCs. Do the ABCs while you're washing your hands. It's important they get used to it. Please practice that at home with your children. This will really help. Keeping physical distancing of 6 feet. Okay, that's another thing that can be practiced at home. What is 6 feet? Talk to your child about 6 feet. We don't do it with our own families at home, but it's good to practice. When you're with others, take a look at what 6 feet looks like. They should always be away from anyone on campus 6 feet. Okay, wearing a facial covering, a mask. Kids need to get used to it. If your child is not used to it, please practice over the next week or so. It is mandatory that they have a facial covering while on campus. Okay. Ms. Castellon, would you like to go over just a couple of those things real quick?
Okay. Acciones para tomar antes de regresar a la escuela. Asegúrese de que su hijo está al día con todas las vacunas recomendadas, incluso contra la gripe. Recuérdele a su hijo las precauciones que debe de tomar en la escuela. Por ejemplo, lavarse y desinfectarse las manos con más frecuencia. Mantenga la distancia física y evite compartir objetos. Use una cubierta facial. Dígale a su maestro si se siente mal. Desarrolle rutinas antes y después de la escuela. Use el baño antes de irse a la escuela. Cosas para empacar para la escuela, ¿verdad? Por ejemplo, en la mañana, desinfectante de manos, cubiertas faciales y botellas reusables.
Thank you. Yeah, so if you please send your child for clarification, if you have a refillable water bottle, that's fine for them to bring to school. The water fountains will not be in use here at school. Okay.
So, esté seguro que traiga una botella de agua, ¿verdad? Reusable, porque las fuentes afuera de la escuela no van a estar en función.
So things to bring to school to prepare for: 2 facial coverings, face mask, like I said, a refillable water bottle. We also have extras here at school. If you would like to request one, we do have some that we can provide children. Okay, personal hand sanitizer and any layers, extra jacket, or just like daily city weather kind of clothes. And also the computer devices. This is something new this year. We've gone 1-to-1. What that means is all of our kids either have an iPad or a computer, a district-provided computer. If for whatever reason your child still does not have one, we will provide one when they arrive. Okay. Mrs. T, did you have your hand up for a question? Or would you like?
Yeah. A question is, are the kids required to get tested for COVID prior to going back to school in person?
Yeah, thank you for that. So our school board, this came up at our school board meeting on the 24th of March, and a school board member recommended it. One of the trustees recommended it. So Mr. Bernie Vidales, the superintendent, has recommended it. I have put the free sites, the free clinics that offer free testing for students, and it's recommended. It is not mandatory. So yes, please, it's a good thing to get your child tested. It's not mandatory, but it is recommended. And the free sites are listed on our bulletin, our weekly bulletin.
One more question. If a child has his or her own computer device, do they need to bring that to school? Or will we issue them?
No. So yes, thank you for these questions. You do not bring your own device. Please don't bring, the child should not bring their own device. That can stay home. We can provide them with a new device, brand new, that is clean, and it's a district device. If they choose not to use it at home, that's okay. But we can provide that to them. We have enough for everybody here. Okay? But please don't bring the own devices. If they end up breaking here, we can't replace it. Whereas our devices that are supplied by the district, we can replace, we can fix, they're serviceable under warranty and so forth. But if your child brings like a nice laptop that's their own and it breaks here at school, we can't repair. So please have those stay at home. They can use them at home, but please come to school. We can provide a district device. A couple of those things, Ms. Castellon, do you want to kind of go back and translate a few of those things that we just discussed? No? Okay, right.
One more question about chargers. So they bring their chargers with them to school along with their devices?
Okay. So please be sure. So this is something that's really good to get used to for middle school. Middle school requires this. Please make sure the device is charged every single night and the child is coming to school with a charged device. They can leave the charger in the backpack in case of like an emergency where they weren't able to charge it and they need to plug it in. Yeah, absolutely. They can plug it in the classroom. Not a problem. Okay, but this is good practice for middle school because middle school has been on this system for a few years now, and it's a one-to-one thing, and it's the future. We're there, and kids they have their device, they take it home with them, they charge it, they do their assignments, charge it at night, bring it back fully charged in the morning, ready to learn here at school. So it's good practice. We're all there. Teachers will be talking more about that, in the coming days. Arrival and dismissal times will be a little bit different. So here's where it's really important that everyone is on board and everything is clear. And so I'll go over this slide and I'm going to go over it kind of word for word here, and then we'll repeat a lot of this stuff. We're going to get a lot of repetition because these are very important things. Okay, so TK and Kinder students will line up at the Miriam Street entrance kindergarten gate. Second and third graders will line up at the Santa Barbara Avenue gate. Third through fifth graders will line up at the Vista Grande Avenue gate. The reasoning for the different entrances and exits is many different reasons. First of all, to avoid gatherings and making sure that we can ensure 6 feet of distancing and being healthy and safe in that way. It's also to avoid congestion around the school with one entry point. The thought is that with multiple entry points and different grade levels using those, that we'll be able to not only stay 6 feet of distancing apart from each other, but also to relieve some congestion. Okay. Ms. Castellon, would you like to comment over that?
La llegada y salida a la escuela van a ser un poco diferentes, ¿verdad? Esta vez que los muchachos vienen a la escuela. TK y Kinder van a usar la calle Miriam, ¿verdad? De la entrada del Kinder. Primero y segundo grado van a usar Santa Bárbara Avenue. Los de 3 a 5 grados van a usar Vista Grande, ¿verdad? Y esto es para evitar congestión, para evitar de que se junten y siempre van a mantener la distancia de 6 pies.
So students, once they arrive at the specific time, and we'll be talking about times because times will be different as well, okay? Once you arrive, and I'll show you pictures, there's pictures in this slideshow, and we'll go over more procedures. But you arrive at the designated place and wait on a dot. They're all color-coded, and I'll go over that as well. But families, the big point here is that families must wait with your children until the health screening takes place. Okay? You have to wait on these dots before entering the school.
So, es muy importante de que ahora los papás van a esperar con los muchachos hasta que les hayan hecho el examen, ¿verdad? Que les hayan tomado la temperatura, les hayan preguntado si todo el cuestionario estaba bien, ¿verdad? Y van a tener que pararse en los lugares marcados específicos para cada maestro.
Gracias. Perfect. Thank you, Ms. Castillon. I know that this is a big change. We cannot have our gates open with people just arriving at different entrances or different times throughout the day anymore. That does not follow the health protocols that have been outlined by the county. We cannot have multiple gates open and families just arriving at any time or through any gate. This is a big change, and I understand that, but it has to happen for us to align with the health regulations and health protocols so that we can reopen. If we don't follow these health protocols, we cannot reopen. It's that simple. So unfortunately, I know this is a big shift and this is very different, but these are some things that we have to go by to ensure the health and safety of our students and the whole community, really. And so a part of that is that only students and staff are allowed on campus. Okay, families will wait with their children at the location, and we'll talk about that in the color-coded dot. They'll get checked in with a temperature check and a symptoms check. I'll go over that soon. Then they're allowed to go onto campus and to enter their rooms. Families cannot go with them. If the family needs help with anything to do with school, they're instructed to go into the main entrance through Miriam's side, and they can talk to Mr. John or myself in the main office, but not to wander on to the yard. And again, this is all following the 4 pillars of health and safety protocols.
Mr. Jolanda, we have a couple of questions. Actually, there's a third one that just rolled in. What if you have 2 kids in multiple entry areas?
So the answer to that,
only one parent.
So I'll talk about that, and we have staggered times. We've thought about that. We have our reopening committee. Our team has been going over these what if questions, and we have staggered times that we're going to go over. So we're going to go over that soon. Dina, do you want to kind of go back and talk about the not coming onto those
Yes.
big points? Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, este es un cambio muy grande, ¿verdad? Y entendemos de que va a ser un poco diferente para las familias. Las puertas de la escuela no van a estar abiertas como antes, ¿verdad? Solamente los estudiantes, ¿verdad? Y los que trabajan en la escuela van a ser permitidos en la escuela, y esto es siguiendo, ¿verdad? El protocolo del Estado, ¿verdad? De salud, porque si no seguimos los protocolos, no podemos tener la escuela abierta, ¿verdad? Y después, si por cualquier cosa usted necesita ayuda, usted puede entrar por la calle Miriam, ¿verdad? Y entonces ahí se le va, ya sea el secretario, ¿verdad?
Yeah. Thank you. So it's really important that we'll go over the different times. So we have different times for different grade levels. So if someone has a 5th grader and a kinder, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. There's times and we'll go through how to do that. Okay.
Los tiempos para que usted pueda dejar un niño primero y después pueda ir a dejar al otro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the afternoons, families will pick up their child in the same location as where they entered in the morning during the health check in the morning. Okay. We're not calling it drop off, mainly because families have to stay with their child to receive the temperature check, okay, by the staff member, and the symptoms check in the morning. Okay. So it's not a drop off, it's a morning intake, we're calling it. Okay. But then in the afternoon, it's in the same location. Teachers will walk their kids out to the dots, and their families will meet them in the different locations. Kinder on the Miriam Street, 1st and 2nd, Santa Barbara, 3rd through 5th, Vista Grande. Okay? Then you're able to pick them up in person, and that's fine. You can go. If you're arriving in a car, Mrs. Sanchez, we will talk about that pretty soon on how to do it with your car. We have placards for each car where you put them in your dash, and you don't have to leave your car. You just pick up, and your child will go into the car. Drivers must remain in the car. Okay?
Ok, la recogida de los estudiantes en la tarde va a ser en el mismo lugar y en la mañana, ¿verdad? No se le está llamando de que usted solo deje los niños porque usted tiene que estar junto con ellos hasta después que le hayan tomado la temperatura y le hayan hecho las preguntas de todo lo que tenía que saber, ¿verdad? Antes de venir a la escuela, de todos los síntomas. Los niños de kinder van a ser en la calle Miriam, ¿verdad? Igualito así como los dejaron. De primer y segundo grado en la calle de Santa Bárbara, ¿verdad? Y de 3 a quinto grado en la avenida de, what is it called?
Vista Grande.
Vista Grande.
Mhm.
Vista Grande. Si usted maneja, usted se queda en el carro, ¿verdad? No se va a salir del carro, usted va a tener una placa allí en frente del carro donde usted, su niño, van a trabajar con Mrs. Sánchez, ¿verdad? Para que el muchacho vaya a su carro y que usted no tenga que bajarse de su carro.
The important point here is at the bottom of this slide. So you cannot drop off your child before the health screening is complete, and you must pick them up each day at the specific time. We'll go over those times, but we do not have before school care or after school care. No school in our district does have that. And mainly, again, it's following the county health protocols. We cannot have before school care drop-offs or after school care. We don't have that.
So, no tenemos cuidado de niños en la mañana, ¿verdad? Ni cuidado de niños en la tarde. So, usted no puede dejar su niño y que se vaya solito para la escuela. Ahora no, usted tiene que esperar hasta que todo el examen completo, ¿verdad? Y con la temperatura y con todo el cuestionario que le tienen que preguntar, haya sido completado.
Okay. So,
Miss, oh, I'm sorry, there's a question in Spanish and I did Google Translate, but I don't think it quite translated very well. Miss Castellon, can you see the question in the chat?
okay.
It's from Ethel Rodriguez.
No, I just, let's see.
Okay.
I'm reading it. Okay, so sí, van a poner una copia de esta presentación. Va a estar, ya que haya terminado, Mr. Delanda va a dar el link para eso.
Y también en español, los dos idiomas, ¿ok? Gracias, Ethel. También para las preguntas, for the questions, I understand everyone has a lot of questions. If we have a lot of slides and a lot of information to share, if perhaps at the end, maybe we should open it up for questions after the presentation, just so we can move this presentation forward, because I'm worried about running out of time and we have a lot to share. And so I promise we're going to probably answer a lot of the questions and with these slides, and then we'll come back and answer more at the end. But if you do have a question, we ask that perhaps it can hold off for now, and then towards the end we can answer them all. Okay? We hope to answer all your questions. So Santa Barbara parking lot entrance is for staff parking only. Okay? For safety reasons, students and families cannot enter the school from the Santa Barbara Avenue parking lot. Okay, so the entrance through the parking lot is not a place to walk and enter the school. It's only for parking. We have a new gate and it's only for parking.
So, la entrada por Santa Bárbara, ¿verdad? Es solamente para el personal de la escuela. No puede entrar, ¿verdad? O parquearse allí por cuestiones de seguridad. Las familias no pueden entrar al parqueo ni pueden entrar por allí para entrar a la escuela.
Pero hay una puerta diferente para personas, para los estudiantes y los maestras. Pero la puerta de ¿cómo se llama? La puerta de carros no se puede entrar por la puerta de los carros. ¿Okay? Hay diferente. Hay dos puertas en Santa Bárbara y hay una para carros y una para personas. Pero esa puerta no se puede entrar por, ¿cómo se llama? Por pie. So what I'm saying is, caminando. So what I'm saying is basically the entrance gate that is for cars is now only for cars, for staff only. Please don't walk your child through this gate, okay? It's for the safety, again, following health and safety protocols. You have to wait on the dots that are near the pedestrian entrance. There's a gate there now where people walk in. And it's safer. It's on a sidewalk. It's away from cars. Okay. The entrance and the parking lot is for staff parking only, and there's signage that is up right now. Okay. Late arrivals. If you do arrive late, and we'll go over this again, late arrivals, please do not just walk through. Late arrivals, you have to use the Miriam Street main entrance, and we'll talk about that more. Okay. Si están tarde, se puede entrar la escuela por la entrada de Miriam Street. Es, ¿cómo se llama? La entrada tradicional de la oficina. Gracias. Okay. Miriam Street. Oops, here we go. Miriam Street. So Miriam Street, these pictures you see here are for our TK and kinders. Ms. Isip, would you like to go through this, or would you like me to do it? Or it might be nice for them to hear a different voice.
Hi, everyone. I'm Barbara Isip Rivera, one of the kindergarten teachers. So every morning starting at 8:45, and stop me anytime, Mr. Delonda, we're going to have our TK and kindergarten families starting at 8:45 line up on, there's blue dots for Mrs. Ferretti's class, and there's yellow dots for my class. So starting at 8:45, and then it'll be, we'll have about 4 teachers out there to take temperatures, to have your child, as soon as we take their temp, make sure they did the wellness check at home, everything's okay. Then they'll walk up those steps and into that gate, and they'll be ready for their learning day starting at 9 o'clock. And they'll be with us till roughly about 11:45, 12 o'clock. And then parents, during dismissal time, then parents, you'll be lining up on those dots, and we'll be dismissing one child at a time. So we'll be standing by the gate right there during dismissal time. And Mr. Delonda, I hope I covered enough there.
No, that's great. That's
Okay.
great. Thank you. It's refreshing. So it's not just me here. I think. So is there anything you'd like to say about some of our little ones? Because I have a little one at home too. I have a TK age kiddo, and sometimes the first couple days aren't easy. And is there anything you'd like to say real quick about that?
Well, just parents, and I tried to talk to my class already. Parents, just, I told them they're big kindergartners now. We've been on Zoom for how many months? They know me, they know their friends, and not to worry. They'll be safe, and just please remind them of that and let them know everything will be okay. We're going to have lots of fun. They'll get to see their friends in person. And like what Mr. Delonda said earlier about having them practice wearing their masks, social distancing, it will be a little different, a lot different, but we're making it work. If you could just daily reminders before they head off, everything's going to be okay.
Thank you. I think that's perfect. So our teachers are going to be working with the kids to practice these routines over and over and over again. There's going to be a lot of routine building, and they're going to make it fun. And it's so all of these things. I know we're going to do the best that we can at home to practice with this, but then when our students come, we're going to be practicing more. Okay.
Oh, can I add one more thing, Mr. Delonda? I mean, since a lot of our families live so close to the school, maybe during spring break, they can just walk around the perimeter, see where they're going to line up, so it's not so foreign on the first day.
So thank you. That's a great idea. We have a lot of signage a lot of signage. So the hope and the goal is with our signage that things are very clear. Okay, so please, if you live nearby, come check it out. Take a walk, and if you have any questions, then you can ask. Okay, thank you. First and second grade families. First and second grade families are going to line up. Mrs. T, would you like me to do it? Or since you're second grade, would you like to do it? Or I don't want to put you on the spot.
No, you can do it.
I can do it. Okay. All right. So Santa Barbara is for the entrance for our first and second grade families. And we've color-coded the dots. These color-coded dots go by teacher. Okay. Now, the health check here begins at 8:30. As you can see that if you look closely, it's easy to see in person, but for, you know, they're all the signage is there. Mrs. K, there's yellow dots that are 6 feet apart. Mrs. Attard, there's blue dots 6 feet apart, and Mrs. T here, she has green dots. Okay, so those are the dots that you wait in. The health check will begin at 8:30 in the morning. Okay, health check will begin at 8:30. So teachers and staff will be out there with thermometers and asking about a symptoms checklist. I'll go over that soon. And then the children will go and line up in front of their classrooms. We will have staff down by the classrooms to help the children to line up in the proper place. And we've done our best to actually color code this. I'm kind of proud of it. It's kind of like this color coding system. I hope it doesn't confuse, but try to make it more visual for the kids. Like they get used to, oh, I get it. I'm on the yellow dot up on the street. And then when I walk in, they line up on yellow dots as well. They all correspond with the same colors. Ms. Castellon, would you like to kind of, I should have stopped on the last slide, but perhaps you can kind of just summarize about this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Lo que Mrs. Isip dijo, ¿verdad? Que sería una buena idea durante las vacaciones, si usted vive cerca de la escuela, caminar alrededor de la escuela para que los muchachos se familiaricen con a dónde van a venir. Dice que no se preocupen, ¿verdad? De que ellas van a hacer esta transición divertida, ellos van a hacerlo, van a ver sus amigos. A que por favor que todos los días les recuerde, ¿verdad? De practicar la distancia, de ponerse la máscara, y que ellos van a, de todas maneras, ellos lo van a practicar en la escuela y van a hacer una rutina, ¿verdad? Divertida. Ahorita, y, por ejemplo, los colores, ¿verdad? Cuando van a estar afuera en línea esperando, van a ser los mismos colores que ellos van a pararse cuando están esperando a su maestro adentro de la escuela. Va a haber bastante personal afuera, ¿verdad? Chequeando los síntomas, la temperatura, y después de eso los muchachos van a entrar a la escuela.
Thank you, Ms. Castellon. Fourth and fifth grade families. Now, fourth and fifth grade families, as you can see in the picture, they're going to line up at the Vista Grande side of the school. As you can see, we have the new gates that were just installed, and there's signage there. Now, for third through fifth graders line up by grade level. This is because there's a lot more of them. If we have 5 classes and they can't line up, it wouldn't be safe. It wouldn't be enough distancing far apart on the sidewalk. So we have to do it by grade level. But as you can see, we're trying to stick to our color coding, and we have third graders lining up at on the red dots. You can see it's closer to the gate, and the blue dots are fourth graders, and green dots are fifth graders. You know, it's all 6 feet apart, and it's pretty clear. So the health check on this side of the school for the third through fifth graders starts earlier, starts at 8:20. Okay.
So para los muchachos de tercero a quinto grado, ¿verdad? Ellos van a comenzar un poco más temprano el chequeo de los cuestionarios y de la temperatura. Ellos van a comenzar a las 8:20. y van a ser, como puede ver, para el tercer grado es el color rojo, para el cuarto grado el azul y para el quinto grado el verde. Y tenemos un nuevo portón, ¿verdad? En la Vista Grande, en la calle Vista Grande. So, todos los muchachos se van a poner en línea por su color y por su grado.
Thank you, Ms. Castellon. So, what we could do is taking a look. Let me go back. So, if you've noticed, and I'll kind of go back. Perhaps we should have done the slides. I should have done the slides reversed. But the first kids to arrive would be the 3rd through 5th graders, because their health check begins at 8:20. Okay. Then the 1st and 2nd graders, their health check begins at 8:30 up at Santa Barbara. Then for the TK and kinders, it's 8:45. So everything is staggered to help families with siblings. Okay? It also helps us work with our personnel and our staff to be able to help each other with intake and helping kids get safely onto campus instead of everyone coming at the same time.
Ok, so los tiempos, ¿verdad? De los muchachos de tercero a quinto grado van a comenzar a las 8:20. En Vista Grande, los de primero y segundo van a comenzar a las 8:30 y los de kindergarten y TK a las 8:45. Y esto es, ¿verdad?, para que todo el personal esté disponible, ¿verdad?, en los 3 lugares y tengamos suficiente tiempo para chequear a los muchachos.
Thank you, Ms. Castellon. Now, late arrivals. If you are late, and this is usually going to be about 10 minutes, because the gates are going to be closed after the health check for, let's say, your child's in 1st grade, and you're standing there waiting, or let's say you're late, you're running late, and the health check has already happened at 8:30, and around 10 minutes after the health check, or when all the lines are in and the students are in, the gates have to be closed. Okay, we can't leave gates open for people to walk onto campus. So the gates have to be closed. As you can see on this slide, each gate will have a sign that says, late arrivals, please enter on the Miriam Street main entrance. Okay, so if you are late, if you come to school and the gate's closed and, oh, we didn't make it on time, it's okay. It's okay. Please, we want to welcome everyone back, and kind of a very, please don't get so nervous and try to make it through the gate when it's closing on you or something. It's if you're late, it's okay. Check in at the main office. Mr. John, as you can see in this picture, Mr. John will have a desk set up in the hallway from the main entrance. There's dots on the ground where you can line up 6 feet apart. You must stay with your child to check in. You can't just drop them off and have them run to class. They have to check in, get a temperature check from Mr. John, a pass to class. They get marked here, the symptoms checklist. Once that happens, then families are free to release their child, and the child goes to class.
Si su muchacho viene tarde, ¿verdad? Si usted viene tarde, dice no se ponga ansioso, ¿verdad? Ni preocupado. Si ya pasó, cuando ya hicieron el cuestionario, ya le tomaron la temperatura y usted viene 10 minutos tarde, cuando ya los muchachos están adentro de la escuela, que por favor, y en todos los portones está que dice que si usted viene tarde, que vaya a la entrada principal de la escuela, donde el secretario va a estar allí para preguntarle el cuestionario, tomarle la temperatura, y siempre en el piso están los círculos donde usted se debe de parar, que son 6 pies. Y usted tiene que estar con su estudiante. Usted no solo lo va a dejar ir y usted se va a ir, ¿verdad? Sino que usted tiene que estar con su estudiante durante todo este proceso, y cuando ya el secretario haya terminado, entonces el muchacho ya va a ser enviado a su clase.
Great. Thank you, Dina. Again, afternoon pickups. So here we go. It's kind of like I should have used the other sign here, or the other picture, sorry. Afternoon pickups. So there is no after-school daycare at schools. Again, so it's really important that families must pick up their kids at the times, at the specific times, at the specific locations. Okay? So dismissal for kindergarten is at 12 o'clock on Miriam Street Kindergate. Like Mrs. Issip said, is that the process will start at 11:45. If you're a little bit early, that's okay. You just have to wait on the dots outside. First and second grade, dismissal will start at 12:30, about 12:35, from Santa Barbara Avenue. Again, the teachers will bring the kids up and the kids will wait on the dots. Third and fifth grade, I understand fourth and fifth grade, Ms. Sanchez, those children are usually released. If you have a fourth or fifth grader that you would not like to be released and that you will pick up and you are agreeing to pick them up at the specific time, that's okay. Please connect with the teacher. That's okay. But fourth and fifth graders are just released and they can go on their own. Third grade, they are picked up as well. But they're going to be picked up. Oops, this says Santa Barbara. It should say Vista Grande. Yeah. And I'll fix that. 10 minutes after dismissal, okay, after all of these times, if you are still not there to pick up, then after 10 minutes, the child will be walked by a staff member up to the Santa Barbara Avenue side of the school for pickup. Okay, this is really important. And perhaps Ms. Sanchez, this is where we can kind of start. But Ms. Castillon, if you can kind of translate just the pickup times and the locations. And the third through fifth grade is wrong. It should say Vista Grande. I'll change it before I send it out.
Okay, that's what I got confused.
Sorry.
When I saw. Okay. Cuando venga a recoger a los muchachos en la tarde, ¿verdad? Acuérdense que no hay guardería en la escuela, ¿verdad? Ni en las otras escuelas tampoco. Por la salud y la seguridad de nuestra comunidad, ¿verdad? Las familias deben recoger a sus hijos sin demora, ¿okay? En los horarios y lugares que se indican a continuación, ¿verdad? Por ejemplo, TK y Kindergarten, el proceso de que los muchachos salgan de la escuela comienza a las 11:45, ¿verdad? Y la salida es a las 12 por la parte de la calle Miriam, ¿verdad? Donde está la puerta del kinder. Si usted viene más temprano, usted esté afuera y espere en los círculos, ¿verdad? Que se ha asignado para ellos. El primer y segundo grado, comienza el proceso a las 12:30 y a las 12:35 van a salir por la calle Santa Bárbara. Tercero, ¿verdad? Usted tiene que recoger a los muchachos de tercer grado y ellos van a salir por la calle Vista Grande y ellos van a salir a las 12:35. Los muchachos de cuarto y quinto grado, ¿verdad? Ellos van a hacer, los van a dejar salir a las 12:45. Si usted por cualquier cosa, usted no quiere que su niño sea, que se vaya solo, usted puede hablar con el maestro. Okay? 10 minutos, si usted se pasa de 10 minutos después de que todos los muchachos han, ¿verdad?, salido de la escuela, los muchachos van a hacer esperar en la calle Santa Bárbara.
Okay, and I'll fix those slides. So, every day begins with the health screening. So, students will be provided with a packet of materials on the first day of school when they arrive. So, they've been taken, they've been intake, the health check. We've done, are you feeling, they will be asked on the first day, are you feeling any of the symptoms? And the staff will go over symptoms on the first day. And then no, then they can pass in and enter the school. And the temperature check is complete. The temperature, if the temperature is more than 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit, or students answer yes to any of the symptoms, they cannot enter the school grounds. And you will have to take them home. Please call the office. We can work it out. We can have a conversation about what's going on. If it's, an illness of some sort or something serious, whatever the case, we can have a conversation. But if a temperature is high, 100.4 or higher, or there's any yes to the symptoms checklist, then they cannot come onto campus, okay? After that, after the first day, the students will receive that symptoms checklist. Teachers will give them, and I've linked it here in the slides, but teachers will give them, the teachers will all give your children a symptoms checklist. You have it at home. It's a really simple one. You go over it every morning, and you will be asked when you come in. From then on, you will be asked, did you do your symptoms checklist this morning? The answer is yes. Great. Then you proceed after getting your temperature check. The answer is no. Then you stand to the side, and the staff member has to give you ask you the symptoms checklist.
Ok, los muchachos después del primer día se les va a dar una encuesta, un cuestionario de síntomas y todos los días, ¿verdad? Usted lo va a leer y va a ver que su muchacho tiene o no tiene ninguno de los síntomas. Y si está enfermo, por favor, llamar a la oficina. Va a ser rutina después del primer día, ¿verdad? Porque y si se le pregunta al muchacho, ¿hiciste el cuestionario de los síntomas hoy en la mañana? Y si él dice que no, entonces se va a poner a un lado y una de las personas que está encargada, ¿verdad? Va a preguntarle acerca de los síntomas.
So these are, I'm not going to go over every single one, but these are some of the health screening questions. If has anyone in your household have these symptoms in the last 21 days? And has anyone in your household been tested positive for COVID? You know, have you traveled in the US in the past 21 days? So, you know, that's going to be something I'll clarify at the end. Travel within California is okay, but per state CDC guidelines, if a family travels outside of California, if a family leaves California, you must quarantine at home for 10 days. Okay, we could talk about what that looks like, but please let us know. You would go on like kind of a distance learning plan, if you will. Okay, and we'll talk about that. Teachers would check in the afternoons to give independent work, and we would do a quarantine for 10 days if you do leave the state of California.
Ok, no va a ir sobre todo los síntomas, ¿verdad? Pero sí es muy importante de que si usted sale fuera de California, ¿verdad? Usted tiene que estar en cuarentena por 10 días. Si eso sucede, usted nos deja saber y vamos a poner al estudiante en estudio independiente. Pero es importante que nos deje saber. Aquí, si usted viaja dentro de California, está bien, pero si ya sale fuera de California, usted tiene que estar en cuarentena por 10 días.
Great. Thank you, Tina. Keep your child at home. If they have any sort of symptoms that are kind of common with being sick, that's a fever, chills, cough, you know, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, body ache, just if they're feeling sick, especially with the loss of taste or smell, sore throat, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, those are things that are pretty serious. So when in doubt, keep your child home. Just call us in the office. It's okay. It's better to be safe, okay? It's better to just err on safety. So stay home. If your child is feeling any sort of sickness, please keep your child home and give us a call, and then we'll work it out. It's better to be safe. Please don't send them, or you know, if they're feeling any sort of symptoms of being sick.
So, si su niño no se siente bien, ¿verdad? Si tiene síntomas de que le está dando algo, que por favor es mejor estar seguro, ¿verdad? Y dejarlo y mantenerlo en casa. Si tiene fiebre más de 100, si tiene escalofríos, si tiene tos, si tiene especialmente pérdida de gusto o de olfato, ¿verdad? Es mejor mantener al muchacho en casa y déjenos saber para que así nosotros podamos tomar una decisión acerca de si él si queda en casa, se le puede dar trabajo, ¿verdad? O si no es necesario.
And also our staff will be following these same procedures to protect our whole community as well.
So, todo nosotros también que trabajamos en la escuela, ¿verdad? Vamos a seguir los mismos procedimientos para que no solamente nosotros, protegernos nosotros, pero también proteger a los alumnos.
See. Thank you, Dina. A new look around our school. I'm not going to read this over, but there's going to be a lot of signage. There's signage for kids. We've put dots on benches so that when they're sitting on benches, they know how far away to sit from each other. We even put dots. Mr. Vincent's been working really hard. We have dots all over the place. But it's good. If kids are being taken outside and they're going to sit on the ledge around the playground, well, there's dots. They know how far that are 6 feet apart, so kids will know how far apart to sit. There's also going to be a lot of signage. You'll see it around our school. That most of it is already up. We're almost 95% there, and we're still going to be putting more signs up for kids on our campus as well.
Cuando venga a la escuela, ¿verdad? Va a ser un poco diferente. Muchas cosas han sido modificadas. Usted va a ver muchas señales, ¿verdad? 6 pies, o siga en esta dirección. Por ejemplo, en los bancos, ¿verdad? Hay círculos donde los muchachos se deben de sentar. Va a ser un poco diferente, ¿verdad? Cuando usted va a la escuela, le enseñan dónde ir, para dónde ir, ¿verdad? Cómo la distancia entre cada muchacho, cuando estén afuera, cuando estén adentro de los salones de clase.
Thank you. There will also be hand sanitizer in every classroom, as well as hand sanitizing stations that are in the outside of our cluster classrooms as well.
So va a haber, ¿verdad? Para que los muchachos puedan agarrar, para ellos, como no se pueden lavar las manos, ellos pueden agarrar para desinfectarse las manos, y van a ver adentro del salón de clase y afuera del salón de clase.
Social distancing throughout the day. These are some examples of our signage that is going around, or that's placed all around our school on the outside and the inside. We're limiting the number of students in the classrooms and restrooms, and we'll talk more about that. Grade level cohorts are assigned to specific restroom facilities, and our custodial staff disinfects the room at intervals throughout the day, the restrooms. Teachers will be taking, as far as bathrooms go, teachers are signing up. They have specific times to take their classes at different times throughout the day. Children are also, and teachers will be discussing all the protocols when using a bathroom. Please talk to your kids about that. That's a couple of simple ones. Number 1, the mask stays on in the bathroom. Number 2, that there's spacing, that 2 kids at a time during a monitored bathroom break, that they're using stalls that are far apart from each other. Also, that they're washing hands for 20 minutes and there's no socializing inside of bathrooms. Teachers will be talking to students about that. If students need to go individually from their class, like everyone has a different system, a lot of might be the signal to go to the bathroom in a class, and the teacher says, okay, Mr. Yolanda, you can go use the bathroom. That's okay. Kids will be able to use the bathroom. At that time, if it's not supervised by a teacher standing outside the bathroom, but they go in by themselves, that's 1 at a time. Or they might join another class with the teacher monitoring from outside. Okay, teachers will be talking to their students about all of this and talking to them over and over. A lot of these procedures and protocols, we're going to go over this over and over again. We're doing it with each other. We've been practicing this. We did a practice run yesterday as a staff. We stood out there on the field and, used the thermometer, talked about everything, talked about questions. So we're going to be doing the same thing with our kids, okay? Tina, do you want to talk about bathrooms a little bit?
So, el distanciamiento social a lo largo del día, ¿verdad? En las instalaciones escolares ¿verdad? Vamos a limitar el número de estudiantes en las aulas, en los baños y en otros espacios. Los grupos del nivel a nivel del grado serán asignados, ¿verdad?, a un baño específico. El personal, ¿verdad?, va a desinfectar los baños a ciertos intervalos durante el día. Todo va a ser organizado de tal manera de que va a permitir, ¿verdad?, el máximo distanciamiento social entre los estudiantes. Van a ver, cuando ellos vayan caminando afuera, van a ver protocolos, ¿verdad? Ellos cuando vayan al baño tienen que mantener la máscara, se van a lavar las manos por 20 segundos, ¿verdad? No asociarse, ¿verdad?, con los otros muchachos. Van a ir dos muchachos a la vez y van a ver si hay un profesor afuera, ¿verdad? Van a platicar cómo ellos pueden hacer para que siempre haya supervisión de los muchachos, y estas prácticas van a ser mencionadas, enseñadas, demostradas una y otra vez.
Great, thank you. Here's an example of a classroom, and this is an example of Mrs. T's classroom right here. It's you know, and as you can see, the desks are 6 feet apart. We've used measuring tape to make sure that they're 6 feet apart. Communal objects in the classroom, like books that are shared and objects that are normally shared, have either been put into storage for now, or they've been turned around so kids don't share things and they're not touching the same kind of things. There's physical distancing between the teacher and the students. Okay. At the end of each school day, the custodial staff goes through and sprays the room to sanitize, to clean the room. And that's the top of the desks, the chairs, and anything that would be touched by students or staff.
El distanciamiento durante el día escolar, ¿verdad? Por ejemplo, ese es el cuarto de Mrs. T. Van a haber de 12 a 16 estudiantes y están 6 pies aparte para minimizar el contacto físico entre los estudiantes y el personal. Los objetos que usaban todos los muchachos en común han sido, como libros, ¿verdad? Juguetes, han sido puestos, guardados por ahorita, ¿verdad? So, los muchachos no van a estar compartiendo las mismas cosas. Y siempre va a mantener la distancia, ¿verdad?, la maestra y los estudiantes. Al final del día, el janitor que está a cargo de la limpieza, él va a venir y va a echarle desinfectante a las mesas, a las sillas, ¿verdad? Todo lo que los muchachos estuvieron en contacto con ellos.
Is there anything else, Mrs. T or Ms. Sanchez? I can talk about the double desks. So some teachers have double desks, right? As you see in this picture. One side might be for students in a student in cohort A, and that's okay if they have materials, their own materials, like their own book, their own notepad or paper or pencils. Then they have their side of the desk where they can put it in and no other kids will touch it. Then the cohort B student would be, when they come the next day, is on the other side of the desk, and they have their own side where no one will be touching their materials inside the desk. Some of our classrooms have that, our upper grade classrooms. You know, some of them have individual desks in the upper grades and the portables because we can't fit these desks. Some of our cluster grades, I know Mrs. T and Ms. Sanchez both have these style of desks. You know, so it's a little bit different. Kindergarten, Ms. Isip, they have obviously not desks like this. They have little kid, you know, where the desks are small, are shorter, closer to the floor, but they're spaced out, and it's 2 students per large table, right? Anything else, Ms. T?
As far as a couple of parents are asking about what materials and supplies that students need to bring, I think that you need to talk to your child's teacher, because every teacher is going to require different things, okay, as far as what to bring with them every day.
Absolutely.
Los papás se están preguntando qué van a traer, qué pueden traer los muchachos, ¿verdad? Sus materiales, libros y esa cosa de casa. Dice que lo mejor es que usted hable con su maestro, ¿verdad? Para ellos le van a decir qué es lo que su estudiante necesita traer. Si usted ve los escritorios, unos escritorios son individuales y otros escritorios tienen doble, ¿verdad? Para que 2 estudiantes estén allí. Como tiene doble, un estudiante puede tener sus cosas allí y el otro estudiante no lo va a tocar. Van a tener sus cosas completamente separadas, ¿verdad? Y no van a estar usando las mismas cosas. Para los para kinder, ¿verdad? Las mesas son más pequeñas y van a estar 2 estudiantes por mesa. Las mesas de kinder son bien grandes, ¿verdad? Para suficiente espacio entre un estudiante y el otro estudiante.
Thank you. Okay, face coverings for everyone. Again, I'm not going to go over every part of this, but please make sure that the face covering is a good quality face mask. We're hoping to be able to supply, we have extras. If your child, I know my son, he's a little one, and you know, he has a hard time wearing a mask throughout the whole day. So we understand that. You know, teachers are putting mask breaks into their schedules. What those look like are under very safe protocols. Teachers would be taking a break outside where kids are 6 feet apart, it's only outside, and their kids are able to take off their masks, not during strenuous activity, so they're breathing hard or next to each other or anything like that. Like a mask break for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and at different intervals throughout the day. Okay, this is to help kids, like, you know, so they're not sitting in a mask for 4 hours. I know that's challenging even for us adults. So, you know, teachers also have emergency masks if something happens, like you know, a mask gets wet or it breaks or something like that. We do have the surgical type of masks in each classroom, extras for students to use if need be. But please just make sure that your child is used to wearing a mask and that it's on their face the right way, that it's not underneath their nose, that it's covering their nose. Again, my son, you know, we're walking on the street and all of a sudden I see it's down past his nose, and, you know, I just have to remind him. So just, if we're making sure that our kids are practicing this at home, you know, please do so. That will really help when they come to school.
So, dice que usar una mascarilla, ¿verdad? De buena calidad es muy importante. Vamos a tener mascarillas aquí en la escuela, ¿verdad? Extras por si acaso se necesita, por si se mojan, ¿verdad? O se les rompe. Y que también los maestros van a tener un recreo, por decirlo así, ¿verdad? De 10 a 15 minutos, donde los muchachos están afuera practicando la distancia, y se van a quitar la máscara, ¿verdad? Para no estar 4 horas con la máscara puesta. Pero va a ser en un lugar controlado, ¿verdad? Y dirigido por el maestro. Va a ser afuera. Tenemos máscaras de emergencia, ¿verdad? Por si acaso alguien necesita máscara, y por favor entrene a sus muchachos a que usen la máscara correctamente, ¿verdad? Que le cubra la nariz, no debajo de la nariz, pero arriba, ¿verdad? Para que cuando venga a la escuela, él sepa, ¿verdad? Cómo ponerse su máscara y mantenerla cubriendo la nariz.
Yeah. And if families, if you're out there and if you need help with buying and you don't have a proper mask at home for your child, please call the office, talk to me, and we can provide one. If you need, if any families need help with you know, we can provide a mask. Okay.
So,
Sí, algunos. Oh, go ahead.
Si usted necesita, dice, mascarillas, ¿verdad? Que si usted no tiene suficientes fondos para comprarlas, que por favorcito llame a la oficina ¿verdad? Y con mucho gusto le va a ayudar.
Ventilation and air filters. So every one of our rooms where students will be either has two types of filters. That's a HEPA filter. We have those here in the office. Those are the portable ones. They're about, a couple feet tall, and that's a HEPA filter. Our clusters have what are MERV 14 or MERV 13. They're filters, air filters that are high quality air filters. The filters have been changed by the maintenance department, and they have been checked out by the health department. And so all our rooms are ventilated. Teachers will be opening their windows in their classrooms, the ones that have, windows to open. And we'll be opening the windows of the clusters, doors open to increase cross ventilation as well as those air purification. The use of outside space is going to be used. As you can see, here's a picture of Mr. Oliver, Coach Q, leading his group that he's been doing the last couple months, his soccer group outside. And there's a way to do it. We have a beautiful yard, and we can do PE. We'll talk about that soon. PE. Mr. Oliver is going to provide that for each grade level for 20 minutes a day. It's great. A lot of schools don't have that. Mr. Oliver is a great coach. He knows how to follow the safety protocols. He's been practicing for the last few months. He's just great at this. He knows exactly how to give kids physical exercise, but in a safe way. 6 feet apart, making sure masks on at all times, giving them breaks if it's too strenuous. But each class will receive 20 minutes of PE instruction every day that they're here at school.
Okay. De acuerdo a la ventilación, ¿verdad? Y filtros de aires que tenemos en la escuela, han puesto unidades de purificación, ¿verdad? Portables, ¿verdad? Y otros que están incluidos en el sistema de la escuela y que han sido aprobados por el Departamento de Salud, ¿verdad? Y reemplazados por el mantenimiento de la escuela. El uso del espacio exterior, ¿verdad? Tenemos una muy bonita yarda para poder hacer ejercicio, ¿verdad? El Mr. Oliver, él es un excelente, ¿verdad? Coach para los muchachos y para enseñarles y hacerlo de una manera segura, siguiendo los protocolos de salud, ¿verdad? Practicando, y él ha tenido varios meses ya practicando con los muchachos de una manera segura, dándoles receso, manteniendo los 6 pies aparte. So, la educación física va a ser practicada 20 minutos diariamente.
It'll be really great for the kids.
Va a ser fantástico para los muchachos.
Yeah, I'm really happy about that. Recesses. So teachers will also be doing recess breaks with their kids at different intervals throughout the day. Classes will, have activities to do, or just a mask break. It could be stretching. It also might be a snack break, which I'll talk about soon, what that would look like. So teachers will be teaching their kids, again, during these recess breaks, kids have to be 6 feet apart. They can't have, unless it's a mask break and kids are like sitting down and they're and the teacher directs them. If they're playing, again, 6 feet apart with their masks on. Okay, and they'll be monitored by the teachers.
So, durante el receso, ¿verdad? Que los maestros van a estarle dando a los muchachos durante el día. Va a ser como estiramiento, ¿verdad? Actividades o comer algún bocadillo, siempre estar a la distancia de 6 pies, o puede ser un receso, ¿verdad? De quitarse la máscara.
Okay. So meal service. So meals, lunches will be to go. Okay, lunches will be to go. So by the end of the day, if your child raises their hand in the morning, we'll be doing lunch count like we normally do. There isn't an option A or B. There might be an option. We're still getting more information as we speak. There might be an option for milk. I don't know yet. Chocolate milk or just regular milk. I don't know. But that might happen. But there is no A or B option. It's just an option. It's what the meal service has been providing. Our central kitchen has been providing our students for this school year. But lunches will be to go. And so lunches and suppers will be provided in one bag for students and families. So if your child is in cohort A and they order a lunch to go, they'll receive a bag that has enough for lunches for 3 days. And then when they come back on Thursday, because they're cohort A, right? Monday and Thursday is cohort A. Come back on Thursday, they're going to receive 4 lunches with suppers until they come back on Monday. Okay. Now, breakfast, again, we're still working this out with Central Kitchen. If your child does order a lunch, they will be provided with a breakfast, and that will be here on campus. Okay. Now, we're still working out how those will be delivered to classrooms or if the classes will pick them up. That's a logistical thing on our end, but they will be provided for kids here at school, the breakfast. Now, it's not necessarily a breakfast first thing in the morning, and it's important for families to understand that. It's not like they will be eating as soon as they get to school. We're calling it breakfast, but it's more like a brunch, okay? It'll take place around like 9 to 9:30. So it's important that you still eat breakfast at home. Please don't send your child without eating anything to school, okay? I know in years past, breakfast is breakfast. Kids can get here and receive a breakfast at 7:45 or 8 o'clock, but we can't have that anymore. It's more like a brunch breakfast. It'll be provided around 9:30 each morning, okay, for students who choose that. They will be eaten outside. The teachers will have their own areas. The teachers will lead their kids. The snack break will be a part of that, and the children can eat that. Not in class because it takes taking the mask off, and we can't have masks off indoors. It has to be done outside.
Okay. Los muchachos tienen que tomar el desayuno en casa. Okay, porque cuando vengan a la escuela no tenemos el tiempo para que ellos, así como antes de que venían y tomaban desayuno, aquí en la escuela hoy no. Ellos tienen que venir bien desayunados antes de venir a la escuela. Aquí se les va a dar algo como el desayuno, como a eso de las 9 a las 9:30. Y ellos van a comer afuera. Va a una área designada, ¿verdad? Que va para cada maestro. Y, por ejemplo, cuando ellos tengan algún receso, ellos pueden comer un bocadillo, pero va a ser a un lugar especificado, ¿verdad? Con la maestra. En la mañana, cuando se hace el conteo de quién va a querer el almuerzo, entonces, cuando ya sea que ya va para casa, a mediodía se le va a dar una bolsa donde va a llevar el almuerzo y una cena, por los 3 días, ¿verdad? Por ejemplo, la cocina central, ¿verdad? Están trabajando en eso y tan pronto como tengamos la información se lo vamos a dejar saber. Pero el almuerzo va a ser para llevar a casa.
Yeah. So this is the tough part, and maybe Ms. Isip, you can chime in here a little bit. The tough part is that I've seen the bags that contain 3 days, three lunches that will be to go at the end of the school day. That might be a little hard for our kindergarten and even our first graders to carry. They're not that bad, and they might fit in the backpack. I think what we're going to do is try it, right, Ms. Isip, to put it in kids' backpacks. But upon pickup, families should help their child, and we'll have them available. So as you wait on Miriam Street, the kinder or TK, for pickup. You might just have, Miss Isep or Miss Ferretti will be there to say, your child ordered a lunch, here are the bags, and it's contact list, you pick up the lunch bag.
Yeah, and just to add, to also talk to your child to make sure when I ask them in the morning, are you getting a lunch, or are you ordering a lunch, that they know, because they're not going to be used to it. And I know it will take some time getting used to, but have your child just remind them that I'll be asking them every day, are they getting a school lunch or no?
So es muy importante, dice, de que usted comience, ¿verdad?, a entrenar a su muchacho, porque la maestra les va a preguntar que si van a ordenar el almuerzo. Entonces, si usted dice sí, ¿verdad?, los muchachos van a ordenar el almuerzo, cuando les den el almuerzo por 3 días, ¿verdad?, le van a dar una bolsa y es un poco pesada. El papá viene, se le va a entregar la bolsa, no al muchacho, ¿verdad? Porque es un poco pesada para ponérsela en la mochila.
Great.
Mr. Yolanda, they're asking if they need to apply for lunch and breakfast, but I believe it's free for everyone, right?
No, it's free for everyone right now. As
Right.
we speak, it's
For now.
free for everyone. There are no lunch forms right now. So again, we're getting information as it comes from Central Kitchen, but as of now, there's no forms or anything to fill out, and it's free for everyone.
So el almuerzo, ¿verdad? Y el desayuno es gratis ahorita para todos. No hay que llenar ninguna forma, ¿verdad? Eso es lo que hemos recibido de la cocina central por ahorita.
Okay, thank you. Lunches and snacks, we've kind of gone over the lunches. I'm not going to talk about that part, but more like the snacks. Students may bring their own snack. You can send your child with their own snack. Please make sure a couple things, that the snacks are not shared with other children. Please don't, we used to get donations of big things for the whole class. Please, we can't accept those, okay? They have to be personal, small little snack bags. Please don't provide anything that the teacher has to help with. Teachers are not allowed to touch the food of the kids, or we're just, it's a little different time now. Before we were able to just, help them and clean their apple or whatever, and or please send them with things that the kids are used to eating on their own and independently. That could be like a little bag with orange or apple or orange slices that are ready to eat, or goldfish, a small personal bag of goldfish, a little drink, a little water bottle, something like that. That's really easy for the kids to eat on their own. Again, snack breaks will be taken by each teacher at different times throughout the morning, and they will be outside, socially distanced apart, and following health protocols.
Para los aperitivos o bocadillos, ¿verdad? Los muchachos pueden traer, ellos tienen que traer su propio bocadillos, ¿verdad? En bolsitas que sean personales, ¿verdad? No pueden compartir ellos la comida con otros. Si traen una botellita que sea fácil de que ellos la puedan abrir, no se pueden aceptar donaciones, ¿verdad? Como antes, que traía y la maestra repartía a todos los niños. Ya no se puede eso. Los maestros no pueden tocar, ¿verdad? Ni abrirles las cosas a los niños. So, si usted le pone un bocadillo, que sea algo que el niño sea capaz de él solito abrir, ¿verdad? Y cerrar, so, comience a practicar en casa, para que cuando él venga a la escuela y traiga cosas ya listas solo para comer, ¿verdad? Para hacerlo más seguro, ¿verdad? Menos contacto físico y seguir los protocolos de salud.
And something not messy. I know my son, he eats yogurt, and all of a sudden I look over and it's all over his face and all over, and then I have to clean it up. But anything that's will be messy with your kid, with your child, please, for safety, we're very limited in being able to help them. So if you know something will be messy, please don't send that.
So dice si, por ejemplo, algo como yogur, ¿verdad? Que se va, que se va a llenar, o algo otra cosa, que es líquida, ¿verdad? Que se va por todos lados, ¿cómo se llama? Va a crear algo que se tiene que limpiar. Dice que por favor, no mande nada de eso, porque estamos bien limitados en cómo le podemos ayudar a su niño. O que sea algo rápido, algo que él pueda abrir, que él pueda cerrar, ¿verdad? Y que no necesite ayuda.
Great. All right. Again, enhanced cleaning, sanitation. This is about, again, our daily cleaning here at the school. You know, surfaces will be cleaned by our custodial staff regularly. That's our phones, the school phones, computers, electronics, any sort of surfaces like desks, especially, and tables and chairs, door handles. Our custodial staff has been trained and we'll be cleaning regularly.
So las superficies, ¿verdad? De alto contacto van a ser desinfectadas diariamente, como teléfonos, computadoras, electrónicos, sacapuntas, superficies de metal, escritorios, mesas, para encender y apagar la luz, las manecillas de las puertas, las sillas, todos los días van a ser limpiadas.
I'm not going to go over this all again, or a lot of this is repetitive. But when a student or staff member is confirmed positive for COVID, staff, so it has to be reported to me right away. So if you or your child or anyone that's been in close contact with your child has been reported to be positive with COVID, please contact us right away. The first step is to keep your child home, and then we can have a conversation. Give us a call. We can have a conversation about, what the contact was like with someone in your community or in your family who had it, what would determine if it is safe to return or if the child should be in quarantine or so forth. We have protocols, again, given to us by the county health department, and I'll go over those a little bit right now. But it's important. The first step in general, when in doubt, stay home. Okay, when in doubt, if there's someone like you were at a barbecue and all of a sudden your cousin calls the next day saying, actually, I was at the barbecue with you and I tested positive. Well, please keep your child home. You stay home. Give us a call. Ask us, then we'll talk and we'll determine if it's safe for your child to come back or if they should go into quarantine. Okay, so it's important to coordinate with us if there's any question of anything. When in doubt, take the safe route. Okay. When the case, so I'm gonna I contact in the event that there is a situation where there is a case that's someone with COVID in a family, or there's a case of one of our students has COVID and we've determined that. Well, we report immediately to our district liaison, our COVID-19 liaison, and the San Mateo County Public Health Department, and we do immediate coordination with either the staff member or the parent, to figure out when the case was on campus, if it was, when the infectious period began, who in the school community was in close contact with the case, the person that has a positive result, and what safety protocols were practiced in the classroom and on school campus. So then we determine if worst case scenario, the class has to quarantine into distance learning format once again for 14 days. And we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But that is an option and possibility. Okay? The school community will be notified of a confirmed case that was on campus during the infectious period, and the cohort will receive additional COVID-19 guidance. COVID response is confidential. I have to say that. No student or staff names or identifying information can be shared. So if there is an event where a student is on campus and we found out after that it was a positive case, Well, we put protocols into place with the district and the county health department to figure out if that child was in close contact with anyone, how long they possibly could have had it, and then we take it from there. The response is all coordinated with the county health department, whether that's a quarantine only for the student or whether the whole class has to go on quarantine. We will determine that based on the situation. Every situation is different, and we base it on again the individual case.
So, si usted tiene un muchacho de que tiene síntomas o que ha estado en contacto cercano con alguien que ha sido determinado de que tiene COVID o que es un caso positivo, por favor tiene que reportarnos, ¿verdad? Para determinar cuáles los pasos a seguir, de acuerdo a las guías, ¿verdad? De salud, del Departamento de Salud y del condado. Así, por favor, si esto pasa, ¿verdad? Toda comunicación es confidencial, ¿verdad? Y entonces se determina cuáles son los pasos a seguir.
Thank you, Ms. Castellón. So we have an isolation room here. That's an auxiliary health room with anyone that has COVID-19 symptoms or who are in close contact. We have waiting rooms for them, for the parent to pick up right away. So that way, if there's any situation where it's been determined that there is a case on campus, well, that person or child goes immediately to this isolation room. It's an auxiliary health room, and they wait to be picked up. But parents, they're expected to come if their child is sick, that they're expected to come immediately to pick up their child. And we will talk to those people and work it out how to pick up from the parking lot to reduce contact with anyone else here at school and so forth. Again, every case is different, but we do have an auxiliary health room here at our site for people or children with symptoms or even if they're sick. Even if they're sick and they're here on site and it's to be determined that somehow they ended up here on site, or they, I don't know how, because, if we're all following the proper protocols and steps and procedures, it really shouldn't happen. But in case it does, this is worst case scenario, we have systems in place.
So, tenemos un cuarto, ¿verdad? Que para los muchachos, si el muchacho se pone enfermo o se descubre de que tiene COVID, ¿verdad? Hay un cuarto donde vamos a mantener donde vamos a mantener a los muchachos hasta que usted ¿cómo que se llama? los pueda recoger, ¿verdad? Y estamos siguiendo todos los protocolos, ¿verdad? Pero vamos a tener un lugar así para cuando si algo así sucede.
Okay, so here's a little flow chart of what is from the 4 pillars of health of the county health department. So this is symptoms, close contact with someone, or a positive case. And as you can see, the first response is always stay home. Stay home. If ever when in doubt, stay home. Okay. For someone with symptoms, would isolate for 10 days from the symptom onset. A close contact would quarantine for 14 days, and a positive case would isolate for 10 days from the symptom onset. Okay, symptoms, you'd go through recommended testing, close contact, recommended testing. Okay, a positive case, confidential communication sent to the school community. Okay, when we return to school for someone with symptoms, 10 days or after a medical note by a physician, and symptoms have improved, and no fever for 24 hours. Someone who's been in close contact, if they have a negative test or no test and they return to school after 14 days after last exposure to contact, they can return after 14 days. Okay, they can return to school after 10 days if there's a positive case. Return to school after 10 days, and they have 2 symptoms and they've improved, and no fever for 24 hours. I'm sorry, not 2 symptoms. They return to school after 10 days, and symptoms have improved, and no fever for 24 hours. Sorry, I'm reading fast here. So Dina, we can kind of go through, if you want to explain that these are kind of like the steps that if a child has had symptoms or has been in close contact with a positive case. And the first step is always stay home. Stay home and call the office so we can talk through what the situation is.
Okay. Si el muchacho, what happened?
Oops. Let me go back here. Sorry.
Okay. Si el muchacho, ¿verdad?, tiene síntomas, ¿verdad? Lo primero que se debe de hacer es de que el muchacho quede en casa, ¿verdad? O se va a ir para casa, si en un caso que está en la escuela. Si tiene síntomas, tiene que estar en cuarentena por 10 días, ¿verdad? Hasta que los síntomas desaparezcan. Se recomienda de que se agarre la prueba y puede regresar a la escuela 10 días, ¿verdad? Después de 10 días o con una nota del médico, ¿verdad? Y que los síntomas han mejorado o han desaparecido. Si ha estado por 24 horas, si ha estado en contacto con alguien de que ha sido contaminado, ¿verdad? Como dijimos, se debe de quedar en casa o se va o se viene para casa. Debe de estar en cuarentena por 14 días, ¿verdad? Contando de cuándo fue expuesto. Se recomienda que le hagan la prueba, ¿verdad? Si la prueba es negativa, ¿verdad? O no le hicieron prueba, que regrese a la escuela, ¿verdad? Después de 14 días, después del último contacto con la persona. Si el caso es positivo, definitivamente quédese en casa, ¿verdad? O se va a ir para la casa. Va a estar en cuarentena por 10 días, ¿verdad? Desde que le comenzó los síntomas o desde cuando le hicieron el examen y le salió ¿cómo se llama? Positivo, ¿verdad? Toda comunicación es confidencial, ¿verdad? Para usted y para la comunidad de la escuela. Y puede regresar a la escuela después de 10 días, ¿verdad? O si los síntomas han mejorado, o si durante las 24 horas no ha tenido ningún síntoma.
Thank you. Again, cohort A. So let's take a look at the cohort. Cohort A, Monday and Thursday on campus. The Tuesday and Friday cohort, they check in online with their teachers in the afternoons. Every teacher has a little different schedule, okay? And then Wednesdays, everyone checks in online. Wednesdays, distance learning. Cohort B is Tuesdays and Fridays coming to school. Then Mondays and Thursdays, they check in online. And Wednesdays, everyone online. Teachers will be talking to their students more about these specific schedules. But basically, it's like when kids come, half of the class will be there in the cohort. When the kids leave, their dismissal time, like 12:35 for first grade or second grade, right? After that, the teacher takes their lunch, their teacher lunch, and they have a prep period. And then after that, they check in on Zoom to their kids who are learning at home. And vice versa.
Ok, so los grupos, ¿verdad? Van a haber 2 grupos. El grupo A, que va a venir el lunes y va a venir el jueves, ¿verdad? Aquí a la escuela. Los martes y los viernes, ellos van a estar chequeando en línea, ¿verdad? Después que la maestra, ella agarre su lunch, tenga el tiempo de preparación, ella va a chequear por medio de Zoom a los muchachos cómo van, que tienen preguntas, ¿verdad? Los miércoles todo el mundo está en línea. Y el grupo B, los días van a ser el jueves y el viernes que van a estar en la escuela. El lunes y el jueves van a estar en línea y los miércoles todo el mundo va a estar en línea.
Perfect. Okay, here's what a sample schedule. Again, I'm not going to go over everything, but this is for your reference. I'm going to be sending this out. You know, this is a TK Kinder schedule. Your screening begins on the Miriam Street entrance at 8:45, and then your dismissal starts at 11:35 to 12 o'clock. And you see the cohort A, cohort B. This is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday's distance learning. Then again, cohort A, cohort B. Now, TK and kindergarten intake and dismissal is at, again, Miriam side entrance of the school. As you can see, in the afternoons from 12:15 to 3:15, teachers will be taking their lunch, doing their prep. Then they'll begin the remote synchronous instruction with the group B, on the group that was not at school. Okay?
Ok, so este es el horario, ¿verdad? Del kindergarten transicional y de kinder. Para el grupo A, ¿verdad? Comienza a las 8:45 a 9 cuando están tomándole la temperatura, haciéndole las preguntas. A las 12:15, perdón, a las 11:45, a las 12, es cuando se les va a dar el almuerzo y van a ser recogidos los hechos de la escuela. De las 12:15 a las 3:15 es la preparación, es el almuerzo de los maestros, y después de ese tiempo ellos van a estar chequeando con el grupo B en Zoom. So, los martes es el mismo procedimiento, pero va a ser un nuevo grupo y va a ser lo mismo, el mismo procedimiento, pero la maestra va a estar chequeando el grupo A. Y los miércoles todo el mundo está en línea. El jueves el grupo A regresa, ¿verdad? Y la rutina es la misma. El viernes el grupo B regresa y la rutina es la misma. La dejada y la recogida de del kindergarten transicional y del kinder va a ser en la calle Miriam.
Now, we've had a couple requests for distance learning. Now, I want to go over this because this might be a question later. If you are requesting to go on distance learning for the rest of the year, the district is not providing virtual school for them. The virtual district school for JESD is full, and they consider that they gave families the option at the beginning of the year and then let them switch in the middle, so it's full. So people can't be put into the virtual school right now. However, we've been guided by the district to let families with a special circumstance to continue with distance learning. But I do want to say that the distance learning is not a robust learning program that teachers have been providing since this year. It's more like a check-in. So if your child goes on like a distance learning plan, or if you are requesting that, please let us know by emailing me or John or Mr. John, or calling the office, or letting your teacher know, and then I can have a conversation with you as well. And then we have a list. And so what would happen is your child would check in the afternoons online with Group A, with Group B, and Group A. Okay? Again, this is not a full, robust education. It's more like a check-in with independent work. Okay? So I know there's been questions about that. The first and third grade. Okay, sorry, Dina, can you explain that? Sorry,
Okay.
Sorry.
Algunos de los padres quieren que los muchachos continúen, ¿verdad? La instrucción virtual. No hay espacio ahorita, ¿verdad? Está lleno. Solamente por circunstancias especiales pueden continuar haciendo eso, ¿verdad? Y el principal quiere dejarles saber de que no es un programa bien robusto para decir en lo que es instrucción. Si usted quiere hacer eso, tiene que chequear con su maestro, tiene que hablar a la oficina, puede hablar con el secretario, puede hablar con el principal, ¿verdad? Y este programa sería solamente como chequear cómo el muchacho está haciendo, que si tiene preguntas o algo, pero no es como instrucción, ¿verdad? regularmente cuando se está en la escuela.
Mhm. Okay. So this is the first through third grade schedule. Note the times. We don't have to go over all of this, but just the start time, the health check-ins at Santa Barbara, on Santa Barbara Avenue at 8:30. And then
So
dismissal 8:35. Sorry.
Ok, so este es el horario del primero a tercer grado, ¿verdad? Y donde se van a dejar y recoger los muchachos va a ser en Santa Bárbara Avenue. Y el tiempo de comienzo es a las 8:30, ¿verdad? Donde se van a hacer todos las preguntas de salud, tomar la temperatura. Y el tiempo de recogerlos va a ser a las 12:35.
Okay. And same thing for fourth and fifth grade. The main thing, it's the same kind of system. You just have to look at the times. And Ms. Sanchez, thank you for reminding me. The check-in time is at 8:15 on Vista Grande.
Ok, para los grados de cuarto y quinto grado, ¿verdad? El chequeo de salud y de temperatura va a ser a las 8:15 en Vista Grande. Y es exactamente igual que los otros horarios, excepto esto que comienza más temprano.
So these are definitions. I won't go over all of them, but we're using this terminology, and it's important that we're all using the same terminology. I've used this before. Case is someone who's tested positive for COVID. Cohort is a group. Cohort is a group. I know that's a word that sometimes I had to get used to. Cohort. And then the other day, Mr. John was like, what's a cohort? And I was like, yeah, I know. That's I didn't think about that, but we're using this terminology. I was like, just think of it like a group. It's just a group. That's all. It's just a cohort is a small version of a larger group. So our cohorts are just separated into smaller groups of a larger class. Okay. Close contact, someone who's been. So this is an important definition. If someone does test positive and we're talking about it, the first questions I ask is who was in close contact. Close contact is defined by someone who is less than 6 feet from from the person who tested positive for 15 minutes, for more than 15 minutes in a 24-hour period. Okay, so that's a definition that was given to us by the health department. Again, less than 6 feet and for more than 15 minutes in a 24-hour period. If someone doesn't meet that, then that was not a close contact. Okay, and that's how the health department is defining that. Okay.
Ok, las definiciones, ¿verdad? Claves que vamos a estar usando una y otra vez, ¿verdad? Es el caso, ¿verdad? Alguien que haya dado positivo, ¿verdad? Cuando le hicieron la prueba. Cohorte, que quiere decir un grupo. Contacto cercano es un contacto que se define como una persona que está a menos de 6 pies con alguien que ha sido infectado con COVID durante más de 15 minutos en un periodo de 24 horas, ¿verdad? Ya sea de una forma, de una sola vez, ¿verdad? O de una forma acumulativa, ¿verdad? Una y otra vez. Si esto no ha pasado, no se considera un contacto cercano.
Great. Okay, questions and answers. We're going to wrap this up. I'm going to do some frequently asked questions real quick. And then,
Can I stop
we'll
you?
go over, yeah, Q&A.
Can I just get really quick to go over the procedures for pickup?
Sure.
That everyone's aware of it before they ask questions about it?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, sorry about that. So going back to the pickup, I know we talked about how teachers will be bringing them out, and if you are walking, the adults should be standing on the dot, and at that time, those kids will be dismissed to them. But the kids that are being picked up by vehicle, we're going to be asking that you stay in your vehicle, you do not get out, that your placard is displayed on the passenger side so that we can see it as you're pulling up. On the Santa Barbara side, there's going to be a coned area like we had before. So you'll go in, you'll see signage that says enter, pull forward, and stop. At the stop point, that's where the child, once we see your placard, the teacher will call them over, they'll walk over, and the child will open the door and get into the car. Teachers will not be opening car doors and closing them. So it'll look like this on Santa Barbara. So please do not park in the white zones and leave your car there, because we need to make sure that the traffic flows in and out. Now, Dina, do you want to explain that? And then I'll just the Vista Grande really quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
So al lado de Vista Grande,
This is Santa Barbara.
Santa Bárbara, ok. Usted que viene en carro, ok, usted va a poner su placa allí y usted no se va a bajar del carro. Los que van a estar allí no van a abrir ni cerrar el carro. No, usted por ninguna circunstancia usted se va a bajar. No deje su carro parqueado allí y se va a hacer algo otra cosa, por favor.
So we're going to be having signs like this. We're making the signage for the next step is tomorrow. We're making these signs, and we're working on it next week as well. So it'll say, please pull forward, right? And then towards the end of these cones, you'll see another sign that says, please pick up your child here.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Gina.
So, van a ver allí anuncios que le van a indicar exactamente qué es lo que tiene que hacer, ¿verdad? Si usted viene en línea, por favor, siga hacia adelante, ¿verdad? Para el lugar donde usted va a recoger a su niño.
Now on Vista Grande, it's a little different because we don't have a wide zone. So we're going to ask that you do not you stay in your vehicle again, don't leave it double parked and walk away to pick up your child, and don't block the driveway there, because that'll probably be the point where that's where we're going to be loading the kid. Once you pick him up, we'll have the car pull up to that open space, and then we'll be calling out your child to come in and get into your vehicle. And then again, you're just going to pick up and keep going. We're not going to park and exit our vehicles at any time.
So, en Vista Grande es un poco diferente porque no tenemos la zona blanca. Okay, so allí, por favor, no haga doble parqueo, ¿verdad? Y por favor, no bloquee la salida de los carros, porque cuando llegue usted allí, usted va a venir en línea, va a recoger su niño y se va a ir. No puede estar bloqueando el tráfico, ¿verdad? Ni tampoco bloqueando cuando los muchachos, ¿cómo se llama? Van a salir y van a subirse en el carro.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Maybe we'll go over some frequently asked questions really quick, and then we can, I'll try to answer some quick questions, okay? When are students starting school? Who'd like to answer? One of our panelists?
The lower grades will be coming April 12th, TK through 2nd, and then 3rd through 5th will come April 19th. Beginning.
All right. Ms. Sanchez, you get the gold star. Number 2, will there be PE during in-person instruction? Mrs. T?
Yes. Yes, there will.
15 to 20 minutes with Coach Q. We're looking more like at 20 minutes. Great. Number 3, will there be an after-school program? Ms. Isip?
No, there's no before or after school care.
Yes. Unfortunately, none of our schools have that. What if we're late to school? Ms. Castillon?
Va a ir a la entrada principal de la escuela y el secretario va a estar allí esperando, y después que haga todo las preguntas y le tome la temperatura, entonces el niño ya va a poder entrar a la escuela.
Perfect. If we're late to school, we always check in the main entrance with Mr. John, okay? The gates will be closed after the temperature checks and the health checks happen, okay? If your family travels out of state, please let your teacher know and quarantine for 10 days, okay? That's, again, from the health department. Just let us know. You could let your teacher know. Your teacher lets us know here in the office, or you can call the office. Let's have a conversation. It's okay. It's important to stay safe, okay? That's the main important thing here. Can I switch from hybrid to virtual? Who'd like to answer that? Ms. Sanchez?
No, you cannot.
Yeah.
If there's a special circumstance where you want to stay virtual, you need to let us know. And your student would be mostly on independent work and just check-ins.
Check-ins in the afternoons with their teachers. Yep. When will I get my child's cohort schedule? You should have gotten it already. Teachers have sent those out. Again, we coordinated. This was a large task. We spent a week on it coordinating. There's 3 things that really dictated and made sure that our cohorts were organized around. Number 1 was our split grade classes. Our split grade classes had to be divided by grades, right? So cohort A, for example, in Miss K's case, would be cohort A is first grade. Cohort B is second grade, right? Or vice versa. Anyway, the grades are separated, okay? Then from there, we look at the siblings of the kids who are in those and have to be in a cohort, a split grade cohort. We look at their brothers and sisters here at our school, and we line them up to make sure that they're in the same cohort. Then I coordinated with the middle schools to look at siblings who are at middle schools to make sure that we're putting them in the same cohorts, okay? That's what made our cohort lists, okay? So unfortunately, we can't do too much switching now unless it's for a sibling reason and something we missed. But we really worked hard on making sure to look up all siblings and common dwellings as well. When can I come to campus? For safety reasons, only students, or can I come onto campus, I should say. If a parent's asking that, no, for safety reasons, only students and staff are allowed onto campus, okay? If you're an adult, a parent, and you want to talk to us, and you need to talk to us here at school, please use the main entrance. You wait in line at the main entrance on the Miriam side of the school. Check in with Mr. John. Mr. John can either help you there or I can help you from the main office, okay?
Mr. DeLanda, there was a question about the placards. When will they get them?
Okay, so, good question. Okay, so teachers on the first day of school will be giving packets, okay? Within these packets, you're going to see 3 things going home. And let's see if I can remember them. One is an updated emergency form. Please fill that out, okay? The next one is a media release form. Please fill that out, okay? It's like starting school, guys. It's like the beginning of school. We haven't gotten a lot of emergency forms back. We're just looking for updates. The third thing is a student handbook addendum that was sent by the school district. They're all in English and Spanish. The addendum is basically going over all of these health and safety protocols, and parents sign it. They check off and sign it. You know, wearing a mask, staying 6 feet apart, that there's an agreement. This is our agreement that we're making with our community. Okay, those are the 3 things that you'll see in a packet going home on the first day. You will also see the symptoms checklist that you keep at home. You keep at home, put it up on the fridge, put it up on the wall, just reference those questions every morning before school. That stays home. It's like a color, it's red. Every teacher will have one for every student. It's on a red piece of paper. Next, every student will get a placard for the car. It has the teacher's name, a school logo, and the child's name. You can put it on your dashboard just like the food bank. You drive up, but not on the campus, like the food bank, but on the Santa Barbara side, we see you, Mr. Oliver sees you, Mr. RJ, myself, teacher, Miss Dina, you know, we're all, there's going to be various staff members at different locations. When we see your car, we know the teacher, we know the student, and we can call on them and they can go proceed to your car. These are all systems that have been adopted by schools that have returned safely to in-person instruction in our county. Okay, we're not making them up out of the blue. It's a lot of work to put them into effect, and it feels like it because we're starting it new. But these are all systems and procedures that are developed from schools that have found success in returning in a safe return. Ms. Castillo, yeah, like where do we begin? Thank you, Ms. Castillon. You know, this is not easy. It's hard work. So thank you so much.
Okay, so cómo hicieron los grupos, ¿verdad? Es que especialmente las maestras que tenían 2 grados pusieron un grado en un día y el otro grado en otro día. por ejemplo, si tenían hermanitos y hermanitas, ¿verdad? Para que vinieran en el mismo día y no tuvieran que venir casi todos los días a la escuela. Y si tenían ya no se pueden hacer cambios, ¿verdad? A menos de que se haya cometido un error. Se le va a dar una placa, ¿verdad? Donde va a estar el nombre de su niño, toda la información del estudiante y suya. Van a mandar el primer día, van a mandar unas formas de emergencia donde usted ya lo ha cambiado. Usted va a actualizar esa forma, una otra forma de que usted le da permiso, ¿verdad? Para que pueda tomarse fotos, por ejemplo, tomarse videos, porque ya los muchachos van a estar en la escuela. Una lista de verificación, ¿verdad? De los síntomas va a ser mandada a casa para que quede en casa. Una donde es un convenio de que usted habla, ¿verdad? Con su muchacho y lo instruye, mantén la máscara, ¿verdad? Lávate las manos bien, sigue las instrucciones de la escuela. So, esta placa, ¿verdad? Va a ser similar a cuando hacen el banco de comida, ¿verdad? Que lo ponen arriba del tablero del carro, ¿verdad? Pero la única diferencia es de que usted no va a entrar adentro de la escuela. Todos estos sistemas, ¿verdad? Y procedimientos han sido adoptados porque otras escuelas las han hecho y han tenido éxito.
So, thank you, Mrs. T, for answering that question. I'm looking at the chat right now. So so I want to be clear. If you're requesting distance learning, and that's just the rest of the year, it's for reasons such as health or safety of your family or logistical reasons that I can discuss with you. Please call the office. Please call as soon as tomorrow, okay, during the school day, and we can have a conversation or send us an email, okay? We were not allowed to give distance learning if you've moved out of the county, okay? That's illegal. That's not a reason that we can allow for continued distance learning. There's been some of those questions coming up. Please enroll your child in the district in which you have moved to, okay? If you are asking for distance learning for the rest of the year for health or safety or for a specific reason that we can discuss more, what you would do, and what you would do is your child would check in the afternoon check-ins with your teacher. They would not change teacher, okay? Again, these are check-ins. It's not specific tutoring. It's not one-on-one tutoring. It's not one-on-one lessons. These are more like check-ins. The check-ins are going to go something like this. A teacher welcomes their hybrid class in. They're in person, right? They teach the lessons. They're going throughout their whole day. The kids go home, and then the teacher does lunch and prep. Then they go onto Zoom, and they check in with their kids who were at home. So on the off days. So on Mondays and Thursdays, they're going to be checking in with the cohort B, because they already saw A in the morning. So your distance learner person would, or person, sorry, getting a little tired here. But your distance learner, your child would check in with the same teacher. It would just be in the afternoon with the cohort, and it would be every day, okay? Now, I want to be clear, though, that these check-ins are not individual tutoring. They're not a robust education that they've been receiving. So it's more like a check-in with individual work. Hey guys, you're going to work on pages 1 through 10. Here's let's go over a couple examples. Please be sure to work on this, on your own, okay? Then we'll check back in. Okay, it's something like that. That's in a nutshell. That's, the teachers are much better at it than that. That's just an example of what it's like, okay? I highly recommend also, again, call the office. Let's have a conversation, and we're trying to accommodate our families, okay? So I see Miss Simon, please, you can talk to Mr. John or myself tomorrow if you give us a call, okay?
Mr. John, if I don't mind me jumping in. So today I did give that example to my students of what check-in would look like.
Okay.
Basically with the older kids, what we talked about was basically they should be getting up in the morning, checking whatever media that we're posting their assignments are at. And by the time they come to check-in, should have already started assignments so that when they come to the check-in, it's more about, did you have any questions on assignments? Instead of being, reissuing new work for the next day so that they are ready for in-person. But
Yeah.
coming in and going over that, not necessarily a lesson that we will be doing, but more of, hey, did you guys understand what I gave you for assignment to do on your own today? And have you completed this?
Thank you. Yes, thank you for that clarification. So yeah, so all the systems are already there, whether that's Class Dojo or I know Ms. Sanchez uses Google Classroom. So your child would look into Google Classroom. Say if you're in Ms. Sanchez's room, do work on the assignments that are posted. Then that afternoon check-in is hey guys, you saw this assignment. Let's check in. How'd that go? Are there any questions and so forth? Right? And it is on Zoom. And so let's we kind of have to end this. We've gone over. There's a lot of information. I hope this hopes to clarify. Ms. Castillon, can you go ahead and translate that distance learning kind of part, and then we can kind of wrap it up?
Okay, so el aprendizaje a distancia, ¿verdad? Hay personas que quieren que hacerlo del resto del año, solamente por dos cosas, por cuestiones de salud o seguridad, ¿verdad? Si usted se ha movido fuera de aquí del estado, usted tiene que enrolar al niño donde usted está, pero no va a poderse continuar el aprendizaje a la distancia, no, y otra cosa que el aprendizaje a la distancia no va a ser instrucción, no va a ser tutoría, sino que va a ser solo chequeo de decir, ok, entendiste la tarea, lo completaste, las asignaturas, y el maestro va a continuar siendo el mismo. Si usted tiene alguna pregunta acerca de esto, por favor, llame a la oficina.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Castillon. Let's see. I'm trying to look for questions.
Mr. Yolanda, someone named Hardy has their hand up. Is up?
I don't know in this.
Hand up.
Yeah, I don't know in this format how they would have to use the chat, right, to ask the question. In this format, it's not like a regular Zoom meeting where they can unmute to ask.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay.
So whoever Hardy is, if you do have a question, please give us a call here in the office or send an email. I posted my email there. And tomorrow's fine. Okay. So overall, please, we hope this was a lot of information, but we hope that the gist of it is not to stress. There's a lot of information about health and safety, but it's meant to take the stress off of you, the community, and ourselves too. We have systems in place. We have very strict protocols. We're going to be following those. Everyone is on board. We've been having a lot of meetings with our staff. Staff is prepared for this to happen. Will there be kind of hiccups along the way that we're going to learn from? Yes, absolutely. Especially with pickup and drop off. It's a new thing that we're all going to have to get used to, but we all have to get on board. It's really essential. It's really important. Students can't be left here in the afternoons. Students can't be just dropped off very early. That's just out of the question. There's no room for that, unfortunately, with our health and safety protocols. Health and safety, again, I've probably said it 200 times here in the last couple hours, and I can't say it enough. It's all about health and safety, okay, for the kids, for you, for our whole community. Okay, and so that's what our priority is, the health and safety, and social emotional well-being of our kids. We're excited. We're excited to see them. And again, I was talking to Mrs. T before this meeting. There's mixed emotions. She was talking to her class, and kids are excited, but they're nervous. You know, they're going to be awkward. We're all awkward. This has been over a year. I mean, it's been a long time, and we're so excited. I know I'm so excited, but I know I'm a little nervous to see how this goes. I can say this: we will be following health and safety protocols very strictly. That there's no room for movement with that. What there is movement for is logistics. How can we operate where the health and safety protocols can be done in more of an efficient manner? How can they be done in more of an effective manner? How can we learn from other sites that are opening again? So opening up at the same time. The important thing to know is that your child is in good hands here at Woodrow. Okay, and we're excited to have them back. We have the same mixed emotions that a lot of you do. Okay, we have the same mixed emotions that the kids do. Again, the focus when they return is going to be on social emotional growth. How do we get used to coming back? Hopefully in the fall. We don't know what that's going to like, but perhaps it'll be a little bit. We'll be a little closer to getting back to what was once normal, or new normal, whatever that is. But this is more like a transition. This hybrid is more like a transition where we're all getting used to practicing these. Again, here it is: health and safety protocols. Again, it's. I'm going to say it over and over again, but it's essential for us to be able to stay open. We got to follow these procedures. Okay. Whew.
Do I translate that?
Sure, please, Ms. Castellón. Thank you.
Okay. Los sistemas, ¿verdad?, que hemos puesto están basados, ¿verdad?, en la salud y la seguridad, ¿verdad?, de los estudiantes, de nosotros, ¿verdad?, de ustedes, de la comunidad. Vamos a seguir, ¿verdad?, estos protocolos estrictamente, ¿verdad?, y todo estamos preparados, ¿verdad?, hemos estado practicando para seguir los protocolos, ¿verdad?, para que los muchachos tienen emociones mixtas, ¿verdad? Están entusiasmados, contentos, ¿verdad?, de venir, y nosotros también. Especialmente vamos a aprender muchísimo, ¿verdad?, durante las primeras semanas, cuando se dejen los muchachos, cuando se recojan, ¿verdad? Acuérdense de que no se pueden dejar los muchachos, ¿verdad?, y tienen que venirlos a recoger a tiempo. Vamos a aprender, ¿verdad?, cómo hacer las cosas más eficientemente y efectivamente, ¿verdad? Y estos muchachos están en buenas manos, ¿verdad? Nosotros también tenemos emociones mixtas, ¿verdad? Es un periodo de transición, ¿verdad? Vamos a practicar muchísimo, ¿verdad? Y estamos abiertos a modificar, ¿verdad? A cambiar, pero a seguir los protocolos estrictamente.
Anything else? Everyone's ready for dinner, right? Thank you so much. I want to thank all of you, all the attendees out there. We can't see you, but thank you for taking the time. It's been a long one, and we appreciate you being here with us. And I'd also like to thank the panelists here. Thank you, Mrs. T, Mrs. Sanchez, Ms. Issa. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. It helps so it's not just me, and it's just not my voice that's just a drowning voice. It's this guy, And of course, Ms. Castellón, thank you so much for your translation. It's a lot, and we really appreciate it. So thank you.
You're welcome. Quiero darle las gracias, ¿verdad?, a todos los maestros que están aquí, que me acompañaron, ¿verdad? A cada uno de ustedes, aunque no les podemos ver su cara, ¿verdad? Porque es algo diferente, pero les agradecemos mucho, ¿verdad?, que han pasado 2 horas y 16 minutos, ¿verdad?, y han dedicado este tiempo para estar informados. Les agradezco mucho.
And I will be sending this presentation out in English and Spanish. It won't go out until tomorrow because there's a few adjustments that need to be made before it's finalized. There's a couple errors that need to be fixed and a couple pictures that need to be added. So it will go out tomorrow.
So esta presentación va a ser enviada mañana, ¿verdad? Y va a ser en inglés y en español. Hay unas cosas que tengo que corregir, algunas fotografías que tengo que añadirle. So las van a recibir mañana.
All right. Thank you. That's so nice. Very nice comments. And thank you, Ms. Cortelón.
Y muchas gracias por su comentario, gracias por participar en el chat, gracias por sus preguntas.
Yeah. All right, everybody. So the big news and the most important thing is that it is, that we've forgot. I can't believe it, but this is opening day for the Giants. So this is opening day. This is the first. This is. It's a big one. So if you're a Giants fan or if not, I mean, it's kind of a fun day. It's always kind of like a holiday for me, at least. I enjoy watching the Giants. So I'll catch a little bit of the game, and I hope you do too. And we look forward to seeing you all back. And everybody have a good night and a good spring break. Please give us a call. Shoot us an email if there's a question or concern, anything comes up. Okay? All right.
Okay.
Oh, gracias a todos. There's nothing much, nada más de eso. Muchísimas gracias a ustedes y vamos a ver todos los estudiantes cuando regresamos. Okay? Anything else that anyone has anything to say?
No, just I believe, more info is coming with the students. We'll give it to them, and we're trying to get them excited about coming back. There's a few kids there, tons of questions being asked, but I mean, overall, it sounds crazy, with all these protocols happening, but it will flow. I mean, just like everything else we've done in the past, takes a minute for it to flow properly. Once everybody gets the hang of it, I think it's going to be really good.
All right. Thank you. And last but not least, go Giants. Okay. Good night, everybody. And now we can actually say, we will see you soon, right? All right.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Yolanda.
Night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.